Hello and welcome to another episode of Blastercaded Painting. Today we are going to be painting the Black Sun Enforcers from Star Wars Legion. I'm kind of excited. Now, before we get into the painting, I do have something to say about the Black Sun Enforcers. I am old enough to remember when Shadows of the Empire came out. And that was the first time we had seen the Faline species. And it was Prince Shizor, who looked like a low-rent Star Trek villain. He just did. He didn't look very Star Warsy. Luckily, throughout the years, via the Clone Wars and other media, they have fleshed out what that faction or species looks like, and now I'm behind it. I wasn't back then, but now I think it's pretty cool. First, these guys will get a spray of black, and then they will get a white ink Zenithal highlight. I will put a link in the description below showing that in one of my other videos. YouTube tricks. Getting pretty good at this. I'm not. So I went for a very subtle Zenithal highlight on these guys, and then I went to Glorious Gold first. This is going to go on the mask and on the trim of the shoulders. It's also going to go on the belt buckle thing. It's a weird belt buckle. I don't know how it works. It's also going to go on the plates of the guns, you'll see here. And on the Vigo, we're going to put it on his head fin right here. I don't know what else you call that other than a head fin. It's a head fin. And considering the unit leader sculpt is very different, it's going to go on his belt buckle and also his wrist guards. Next, we are switching to Wildwood, and this is going to go in between those sections of gold. This is going to be the primary color on most of the clothing on the body. We want to make sure we don't go over the gold here. I mean, it won't be too hard to cover up, but it's just easier to just be careful. And when we go down to the lower parts of this jacket, we want to make sure we stay away from the belt and the trims around the long coat. But it, again, looks just like a skirt. Now we're going to switch to hardened leather. This is going to go on all the regular Enforcers belts. It's also going to go on the belt of the guy carrying the thermal detonators. So we're going to take some Magos purple and we're going to take a drop of Hive Dweller purple. We're going to mix that together, and this is going to go on all the parts we want purple. So on the main guys, it's the wrist guards, and then also above the armor they have, the armor. It's also going to go down in these little crevices here, in between their bum skirt. And the unit leader here is going to get it on his pantaloons and his sleeves because he's a little bit more fancy. I'm going with the idea that the more purple you have, the better you are in the Black Sun. And the Vigo is going to get it all over his robe. He's got the most purple, so he's the most important. Next, we're going to move to Ionin yellow, and this is going to go on all the trim that we left. This is going to be very pale yellow because of how lightly we did the Zenithal. The Vigo here is going to get it on his big fancy man frill. Those are like 1990s shoulder pads that have gone too far. That's 1990 shoulder pads in space. That's what that is. He looks like he's in a Designing Women marathon. No, so many people won't understand what I just said. So, something exciting happened while I was in the middle of filming this. I actually got a hold of all of the new contrast paints a couple days early. So, I'm going to use some of these in here. And the first one I'm going to use is Rattling Grime. And this is going to go on all the armor plates on their arms. It's going to go on their boots. It's also going to go on their helmets. And for the unit leader, we're going to do this on his undercoat. And we're going to use this on the Vigo as well, on the insides of these hanging drapes of his dress drapes. I don't know what they are. Also the upper part. Next, we're going to go to Karandros Green. Karandros. I know it has something to do with Games Workshop lore. I have no idea how to say it. Karandros Green. This is going to be used for all of their skins. So right here on the hands of the Enforcers and also on the back that they leave open. Which I think is a bold move for a bunch of gangsters. I guess you could say, like, they're not afraid of being stabbed in the back by their own men, but they're gangsters, so it's definitely happened. Then we're going to switch to Imperial Fist Yellow. This is a new one as well, and this is going on just this little trim on the Vigo. Next, we're going to go to Gravelord Grey, and this is going to go over all the metallics. So the guns, the helmets, the thermal detonators, and the Vigo's head frill, also all of their belt buckles. And we're going to take just some straight Hive Dweller purple because I just didn't want to use black. I wanted to use a little something different. And this is going to go on the Vigo and the unit leader's hair and goatees. I am going to do the basing the exact same way I did the Pike Syndicate base, and I will put a link in the description below to that video if you want to check that out. With that, these guys are done. I really like how these guys turned out. They were a ton of fun to do, really quick, really easy, nothing special, just a fun, easy way to paint these guys up and get them on the table. So, like I said before, when the Phalline species was first introduced, I was not sold on them, but these guys look pretty good in my opinion. They're not great, but they're painted, and I'll have fun playing. Either way, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff, and we will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Next, we're moving on to Iandan Yellow, and this is going to go on all that trim that we left. So this is where everything's going to be just a very pale yellow, and that's mostly because of the Zenithal that we did. I'm going to redo that because it sounds like I just pooped out of my mouth. I think it's weird that apparently in Star Wars no one's invented a zipper. It's all like clasps and buttons and tunics and weird stuff. Why there's no zippers? Seems like they've skipped over that fairly simple and essential technology.